Road traffic policing. Vehicle, a carriage or conveyance of any kind used on land. Mechanically propelled vehicle, includes electric, relates to construction rather than use. It only ceases to be mechanically propelled when there is no reasonable prospect of being mechanically propelled again. For example, a car with engine removed still is mechanically propelled if it will be replaced. Motor vehicle, mechanically propelled vehicle intended or adapted for use on roads, according to a reasonable person test. Note: motor vehicles include electric scooters, bikes and segways. Motor vehicles do not include hoverboards. Construction truck is solely for the purpose of work, not to be driven on a highway, and are not motor vehicles unless it can be shown that they are suitable for road use. Electrically assisted pedal cycles are not motor vehicles. Driver, a person engaged in driving a vehicle. Can be one or more person, i.e. driving instructors only driving if they are actually about or due to take control of the car. You are still a driver of a car if it is parked but the journey has not yet ended. Control of direction and movement must be substantial. For example, pushing a car while steering is not driving. Did the person deliberately set the vehicle in motion? How long did they have control for? And can controlling or be attempting to control? Were they sitting on the moped and pushing it with feet is also driving? These are all questions that should be considered. Sitting in a driver's seat with the engine off is not driving. There must be evidence of driving, not simple suspicion. Attempting to drive is more than merely preparatory. It includes the impossible, in other words, situations where it would be impossible for the person to drive. Being in charge. The owner or lawful possessor or someone who has recently driven it, or none of the above, but was in a vehicle or otherwise involved. They must be voluntarily in control or intended to be in control in the immediate future. For example, a driving supervisor must be fit to take control at any moment. Road. Any vehicle and road which the public has access to. It includes pavements and grassy verges adjacent to a road. Car parks are not roads, but a carriageway in it could be. Members of public only gain access by overcoming a physical barrier or there is an express or implied permission. This would mean it is not a road. If only a partial road, it can still be considered to be on a road. For example, if a car is committing an offence with one wheel on a road and the rest of the car on private land, it would still be considered to be driving on a road. Public places may include private caravan sites open to campers, school playground used outside of school hours as a leisure park, a field used by agricultural shows, multi-storey car parks intended only for use by customers, but accessible from public place with no entry restrictions. For example, for a public place to become a private place, like a car park after opening hours, there must be a physical obstruction to overcome. Use. Involves an element of controlling, managing or operating. It only applies to owners, not drivers, if they employed the driver at the time on the owner's business. 1. You must prove ownership. 2. The driver was employed at the relevant time. And 3. Driving vehicle in the ordinary course of their employment. If a motor vehicle and on the road, it can be in use even if unable to be driven. This does not require control or operation. Trailers. The owner of trailers are considered using, even if being drawn by someone else. Cause. It involves a degree of control or dominance by express mandate from the causer. It requires 1, positive action, and 2, knowledge. Willful blindness does not equal causing. Permit. Giving leave or licence, express or inferred to do something. Generally requires knowledge of 1, use, and 2, unlawful nature of that use. One cannot permit oneself to do something. Defences. Duress. Compelled to commit offence. Threatens with death or serious physical injury. Defences no longer apply if the offence continues, driving a far greater distance than is necessary to escape relevant danger. Duress while over alcohol limit would only apply if 1. Driving to avoid consequences that could not otherwise have been avoided. 2. Consequences must have been inevitable and risk of serious harm to driver or someone they were responsible for. 3. Do no more than what is reasonably necessary to avoid harm. And 4. The danger of driving must be proportionate to the harm threatened. Automatism. Control or action are voluntary. No actus reus. It results in the total destruction. It is the total destruction of voluntary control. If it's a medical condition, they have a duty to avoid driving when symptoms are likely to arise. Not available if self-induced, for example, alcohol or not taking medication. Not available for motorway hypnosis defence. Police drivers. Emergency service vehicles on duty are exempt from speed limits, keep left signs and traffic lights. They're entitled to expect drivers and pedestrians to take note of sirens and lights. They are judged at the same standards of care as other drivers. Traffic lights. Only if another driver should not be obliged to change speed or course to avoid collision can they disregard them. If a person drives in a manner necessitating police pursuit, they may be liable for injuries to officers if they are caused. Thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful. These are literally the recordings I made for myself and thought it might be useful for you. Do make sure that you get the Blackstone police manuals to get the full experience and all the up-to-date information. Bear in mind that this is only relevant as of when it's taking place in 2021, and these videos might not be so accurate or relevant in 2022.